The Ripple Effect, Environmental Regulations and Small Businesses. Introduction. Welcome to the Ripple Effect, where we delve into how policies impact our economy beyond the surface level. Today, we're examining the intricate implications of environmental regulations on small businesses, focusing on a typical transportation company, Jake Freight. Let's explore the first, second, and third-order impacts of environmental regulations on small businesses and the supply chain. First-order effects. Immediate compliance costs. Jake Freight is a small transportation company committed to being a responsible environmental citizen and understands the importance of reducing harmful emissions. Environmental regulations, like the mandate for diesel exhaust fluid usage in diesel engines, exemplify how well-intentioned policies can have complex effects on small businesses. DF is used to reduce harmful emissions from diesel engines, a common requirement in the freight industry. While aimed at improving air quality, the regulation introduces significant operational challenges and costs to companies like Jake Freight and throughout the supply chain. Freight companies like Jake Freight now need to manage the additional logistics and expenses of maintaining DF supplies, impacting their bottom line. This scenario serves as just one example of how environmental regulations can affect a specific sector. Second-order effects. Supply chain and economic impacts. The ripple effects of DF regulations go beyond the immediate costs of compliance. For example, when freight companies like Jake Freight pass increased expenses onto consumers, it can create inflationary pressures in sectors that heavily rely on transportation services, such as consumer goods, agriculture, and construction. Additionally, using DEF introduces unintended environmental and economic consequences throughout the supply chain. Manufacturing impact. The production of DEF is not environmentally neutral. It requires significant amounts of natural gas, contributing to carbon emissions and increased fossil fuel consumption. This aspect of DEF production is often overlooked when considering the benefits of reduced tailpipe emissions. Resource consumption. Manufacturing DEF involves substantial water use and purification processes, adding to the environmental footprint of this compliance measure. Transportation and distribution. The logistics of distributing DEF across vast networks contribute further to carbon emissions and environmental degradation, counteracting some benefits gained from cleaner exhausts. Third-order effects. Broader environmental and industry implications. The third-order effect of DEF mandates on Jake Freight extends to environmental repercussions from increased urea production required for DEF. As we look deeper, the environmental regulations surrounding DEF illustrate broader ecological and industry challenges. Byproducts and waste. The production process for urea, a primary component of DEF, emits harmful byproducts such as carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide, known greenhouse gases. These emissions contribute to the very problem DEF usage aims to mitigate. Potential contamination. Improper handling or disposal of DEF can lead to urea contamination in water sources. High urea concentrations can cause algae blooms, which disrupt aquatic ecosystems and lead to eutrophication. End-of-life concerns. Farm vehicles and trucks equipped with selective catalytic reduction (SCR) systems that require DEF eventually wear out, and the disposal or recycling of these systems can also have environmental consequences, especially regarding the metals and chemicals used in the catalytic converters. Conclusion. While on the surface, environmental regulations such as DEF mandates for diesel engines serve an essential purpose in reducing visible emissions, the full spectrum of environmental impacts is far-reaching and often overlooked. Regulations like these often carry hidden or less considered effects that extend through the entire supply chain, highlighting the need for a more comprehensive approach to environmental policy that truly balances ecological benefits with economic and environmental costs. For Jake Freight, this means grappling not only with increased operational costs, but also navigating the broader market fluctuations and supply chain disruptions that come with intensified production and resource demands. These extended impacts underscore the complexity of achieving truly sustainable environmental outcomes without compromising the economic viability of small businesses like Jake Freight. Thank you for tuning in to The Ripple Effect. Join us next time as we continue to explore the far-reaching consequences of key policies, examining not just the visible impacts, but the extensive, often unseen ripple effects across our economy and environment.